They say don't mess with Texas. Well, we kind of did tonight. Arizona Diamondbacks get the job done against the Rangers. Jordan Lawlar gets his first hit this year and his first Major League Extra Base hit, and my stupid beard is in fact teal. We're talking about it in 30 seconds. Don't you go anywhere.
Derek, how is it possible that you have made yet another bet about dyeing the stupid hair on your head a ridiculous color? And that answer is simple. The answer is, I don't learn my lesson. Doesn't matter. My life as a normal human being is about to end. I mean, at least with the purple, I could put a hat on. Ooh, yikes. Oh no. All right, here we go. Oh, that's so blue. My skin is never gonna recover from this. Never. It's never gonna recover. Oh my God, what a stupid ass idea this is. That man has a family.
Milton's gonna help?
Get out of here, seriously. I don't know this. I don't know that. Love it. Well, there's the finished product. Not as teal as most of you would like, but teal enough for me to say I dyed my stupid beard teal and honored the bet. Blaze, give me back my goddamn snake.
Well, ski and welcome in to another edition of the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast, live from Studio K. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as Baja Blast Derek, and I'm thrilled to have you guys here. The Arizona Diamondbacks are undefeated in my teal beard era, and they beat the Rangers tonight by a score of 5-3. Welcome into you all. Great to have you guys here. Of course, got my guy, Damon Dog, on the ones and twos holding us down tonight. And of course, we also are brought to you by our friends at Bet365 and Game Time. Make sure to download that Bet365 app and use our code of PHNX365 when you sign up. Get yourself some bonus bets over there. Over at Game Time, use our code of PHNX and you'll get $20 off your first purchase. Great to have you guys here. Maze Devil says it don't look that bad. Bless you. I went with a matching outfit tonight to make sure I coordinated with my stupid teal beard. And I could not, by any means, dye my hair and just sit here alone. So I have to have the one guy that's always here when I dye my hair and live up to these stupid bets. It's the one, it's the only Thunderstick Jesse Friedman. Jesse, I had to interview Tori looking like this tonight. And yeah, I think at least with the news about Lourdes Gurriel Jr., maybe I brought some levity to Chase Field because the vibes were bad at the beginning of the game. However, vibes are pretty good afterwards, sitting at 5-3.
It does feel poetic, Derek, that I got to be on this show as you unveil this this beautiful work of art that we all have in front of us.
I'm an adult male, Jesse. That I'm going to be on the news on Friday, looking like this. So there's that, because me and Blaze are making the exchange live on Channel 12. So don't miss that. But yeah, I'm glad that I continue to run my mouth and lose these bets for sure.
So what are the origins of this bet? Just to make
this
sure
one started with Gino.
Here.
This was a Gino 40 home run bet. Started as a 50 home run bet, and then I got cocky, lowered it down to 40 once he was struggling there in the beginning after he came back down to earth. And then I tried to weasel my way out of it, Jesse, based on the fact that Gino Suarez, as you know, no longer plays for the Arizona Diamondbacks, the team we cover. So I felt like that negated the contract. I thought that made it null and void, but apparently no, that's not the case as I sit here. Now, Tealbeard got Blaze still holding our child hostage, telling me that he will exchange him for a pack of Sour Patch Kids now on Friday, but maybe I'll have to let them keep Jesse Jr. because this team continues to play very well. Blaze, once again, was good tonight for this team. It seems like no matter where they put him, he continues to deliver for this team. But the big story tonight is Jordan Lawlar getting his first 2 hits of the season, really feeling like he had a bit of a breakthrough moment. And then Ketel Marte obviously delivering with his 3-run home run as well.
Big night for Jordan Lawlar. It's felt like these struggles for him are far beyond him just adjusting to major league pitching. I think there was pretty clearly a mental component to this. I know he spoke to you guys out at the field yesterday and talked about how he's still confident and, he said all the right things there. But I think it's just human nature that, you start a season 0 for 30 or whatever it was. And at a certain point, you're kind of wondering, like, can I actually do this at this level?
Right.
And Jordan Lawlar proved today that he is able to have success at this level. And hopefully for him, this is the start of him really being able to turn things around.
For sure. Well, we do have Torey's opening remarks, or at least his remarks after the game. Here's what Torey had to say about this big win. Oh, sorry. We'll get there in 1 second. But yeah, I mean, there is, Jesse, quite a bit here to be excited about, especially with the Diamondbacks having that offense there generated by those guys 6 through 9 in the lineup for once. I know, obviously, that's been a bit of a struggle for the Diamondbacks. With the Lourdes news, which we'll get to here shortly, it does feel like, today was a day that felt like the season was finally lost. I know the loss of Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is not the end of the season, right? But it really did feel like it signified for me, especially with how well Lourdes has been hitting, the RBIs that he had in the month of August. It felt like this is it, like good time to hand the keys over to the younger guys to give them an opportunity to play and get that experience. But it really did feel, like that was the final straw. Not to even say that, you'd be wrong to not have any hope, to have lost hope for the season far beyond this, or far before this Lourdes, injury. I will say, though, that the way the guys played today was encouraging, and it made me feel like, the loss of Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is a loss, but isn't necessarily the end for this team, despite it feeling like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think 2 things can be true, right? On one hand, you hate to see that for any player. I mean, I can't imagine the pain that Lourdes was in yesterday, and not just the physical pain, but you could tell that emotionally he was pretty down over the whole thing, just like covering his face as he was on the cart being being taken off the field. It was a really, really tough moment to watch, and understandably so, him reacting in that way. But at the same time, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. has not had a particularly great season for the Diamondbacks this year. I know the RBI numbers have been nice here lately, which you referenced, and he has heated up a little bit more here in the second half. But overall, Lourdes has, a 93 OPS plus, I think it is. He's been a below average hitter, and he's never been a hugely valuable defensive player. So It's been a bit of a down year for him. But, going into next season, you certainly hope that Lourdes could maybe bounce back and be a key contributor for this team, especially against lefties. And now I'm not sure we're going to be able to see him in 2026, at least not until the second half of the year.
That's the devastating part. And again, we'll get to that. But we do have Torey's remarks here from after the game. This is what Torey had to say about this win.
It's a nice bounce back win. You're one strike away from winning a baseball game. You're always curious about what the team's going to do in response to that following day. But this team always is ready to play. This team is ready. They're hungry. They have something to prove. They play with an edge. And today was a perfect indication of that. I thought falling behind by a couple runs, we stayed in the game. Crismatt was executing a really nice plan. He was never giving in. It's 2 runs, 6+ innings worth of work, and we kept chipping away. We had some opportunities later than sooner, but we never shut down. And when we had the right opportunity, the right guys, we got the big knocks, and that's what stands out to me. It's the big sac fly, it's the base hit by Blaze, the way the innings built, and it happened again with the 3-run home run by Marte. So, the bottom of the lineup came through today. That portion of it has to understand what their job is. It's to see pitches, get on base, set it up for the boys at the top, and that's what happened today. It was nice to see Jordan Lawlar get his first couple hits of the season. I know he's been grinding, but I keep feeling like he's getting closer, and he's shrinking the zone, waiting for his pitch, and just had real nice approaches. I felt in LA it translated into what was going on today. Marte, the big knock, leadoff double, the home run. You can't say enough good things about him, but it was a pitching defense. Crismatt was fantastic. There's just so many things that led to this win, and it started with Crismatt and then timely hitting.
This was a weird game because obviously early on, Jesse, the Diamondbacks were getting a lot of hard hit balls. In fact, we have a screenshot here of a lot of the outs they had, and they were all 95 plus. Corbin Carroll making a lot of loud contact here. He had 106.5 mile per hour ground out and a 99.5 mile per hour fly out. Lawlar had that fly out, and Torrey said after the game that when he had that fly out, he said that was one of the best hit balls that Jordan Lawlar has had all season long, which is a little hilarious considering it was for an out, but it just goes to show that both Torrey and, I got to give credit where credit is due, our guy Alex Weiner next to us from Arizona Sports 98.7, he turned to me after that first loud out by Lawlar and said he's going to get his first hit tonight. And he was right, because Lawlar did get his first hit tonight. He got 2 of them, in fact. Welcome to the big leagues, kid. Lawlar gets his 2 hits, including his first of the season. That also happened to be his first extra base hit in his big league career, and that was a 2-out double in the 5th inning. He would not score on that one. That was a 108 mile per hour line drive. And then he singled in the bottom of the 7th, Jesse, to give him his second hit of the night, and then would score on a Ketel Marte home run. Again, both hits were off 4-seam fastballs, so I don't really want to get overly excited about it. That is the pitch that he should be able to hit and has been able to hit no matter what level he's been at. However, the at-bats are getting better. Torrey said the strike zone is shrinking for him a little bit, and you're just seeing him have more confidence out there at the plate. Felt like that was the same kind of after the game too. He looked relaxed, and he also was not shy about saying that, like, that hit was a big deal for him. It's just a hit. It's just one of many, especially considering his success at a minor league level, but it was a big deal for him.
Yeah, that's one of those situations where if after the fact the player like kind of downplays it, it's like deep down that was actually a pretty significant moment. Obviously, Jordan's really been fighting it here for a while, and I will also add that this wasn't I don't view this as being kind of a law of averages situation where like eventually a ball was going to drop or whatever, just some tough luck. He really just had not made like any compelling contact the whole season. I mean, his expected batting average coming into today was 0.71. So, it's not like he's made hard contact and just gotten unlucky here and there. I mean, he's struck out in almost half of his plate appearances and has made almost no hard contact at all. He's just looked all out of sorts in the box. And you're right, he didn't hit these hits did not come off of breaking pitches. There's still more to prove for Jordan Lawlar, a whole lot more to prove after this game, but a huge step in the right direction for him nonetheless.
Richard Perry in our chat says Lawlar did lay off the breaking balls he was swinging at, so that is part of that success he had tonight. Katie May says he's 23 and a baby. Development doesn't happen overnight, and I think that is something to just keep in mind. Like Taylor Rashi is yes, he's a rookie. Yes, he made his major league debut. That is a grown man. He is 29 years old. He is a journeyman. He, is doing great, and he was great again for the Diamondbacks tonight. But it's a little different when you're talking about a player that's in their early 20s like this. And again, it's kind of crazy because playing right next to Jordan Lawlar is a guy named Blaze Alexander who did steal our snake and also has had a tremendous amount of success lately since, returning to the major league roster. He's been great at the plate. He was great again tonight for this team, 2 for 4 tonight with an RBI for Blaze Alexander. But he, like, when you see how quickly he was able to kind of put it together, I know Blaze has always had better at bats than Jordan Lawlar at a major league level. So I don't want to compare the two, but I will say that Blaze struggled as well. And then things clicked for him, especially this last call up. And that is how quickly things can come together sometimes for these guys. Jordan Lawlar, for all intents and purposes, all of the athleticism, everything is there to be a big league player. There's no doubt about it. And in fact, he is a big league player now. He is no longer a prospect. He has been removed and promoted officially. So he is not even in the Diamondbacks top 30 prospects listing any longer, according to MLB Pipeline. So again, this is it. And I mean, they've talked about that with Jordan Lawlar, that they're no longer evaluating him as a prospect. He is a major leaguer now, and now he's being evaluated as such. So again, that means less coddling and more about, performance and getting the results. But it's just, honestly, it's great to see him have this night, and you just hope that this leads to more, right? That's the big thing, is that hopefully now that he kind of has this, this behind him, he can feel confidence and kind of move on with his career and start producing for this team offensively.
We were talking on Snakes Territory the other day about, Jordan Lawlar's big picture future and how confident we were that eventually the tide is going to turn and he's going to turn into the type of player that a lot of people have hoped he would be. We basically said, like, if you had to put on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident you are that Jordan Lawlar will eventually be an above average hitter in this league. Not necessarily an elite hitter in this league, but just above average. And I said as of a few days ago that I'm like a 6 out of 10 on that scale. Even though Jordan Lawlar, the beginning here has been really, really rough for him, I still feel like these tools that we've heard so much about for so many years are still in there and will eventually manifest themselves at the big league level. And maybe tonight was the start of that, as he kind of gets over maybe this mental hurdle that he's been going through here the past few weeks and maybe in his previous major league stints as well. And maybe this is the start of kind of a new chapter for him as he really tries to get comfortable at the big league level.
Maze Devil says, I mean, if Blaze keeps a 700 plus OPS, where does Lawlar play? Well, unfortunately, I hate to bring this up again, but with the Lourdes Gurriel injury, it does open up, like it opens up playing time, right? And with the severity of that injury, there's a good chance that Lourdes could be lost until this time next year, which basically means the entire 2026 season, just about. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully his, recovery time is far less than a full year, but that's how long a torn ACL can take to recover from, right? So in this case, it's not good. It's not good to lose Lourdes, but the silver lining here is that guys are going to get an opportunity once again, just like they have had on this team all season long due to these injuries, to step up and perform. And in doing so, not only are they, giving their career a chance, right? Like some of these guys might not, be here next year, but the young guys, they're earning that playing time now and fulfilling a need that the Diamondbacks have. So again, Blaze Alexander has proven, I think, in a short period of time that he can kind of play all over the diamond. Maybe some places better than others, obviously, but Jordan Lawlar seems like he's pretty solid over there at third base, despite that not being his actual position. He talked to us after the game a little bit about, third base versus shortstop being more about, moving forward and backwards versus moving laterally like you would at shortstop. But, for the most part, he feels like he's fairly comfortable over there and making those throws. In fact, we have some more from Jordan. Here's what Jordan had to say after the game.
About breaking his slump.
Oh.
What did it feel like to get that first one under your belt?
I'm not gonna lie, I felt pretty good.
How much, when it kind of builds like that, it's been a while, what is that like mentally?
It's what you make it, I would say. Just remembering who you are, remembering everything that's gotten you to this level, I would say. And it's easier to say than actually do sometimes, but again, having the right support systems and having the right people in your corner helps a lot.
I mean, that man's been through a lot, a lot of ups and downs, right? A lot of excitement about his career and then a lot of disappointment at a major league level. And that's continued this year. It's great for him to have these 2 hits, and it's great for him to have this night on a night where the Diamondbacks get the win. But Jesse, it's still just a small part of his game and a small sample of him being able to hit. So we need to kind of see it in a bigger capacity. We need to see him be able to hit that breaking stuff and just maybe have some better at bats here than what we saw early on this season so far for him.
Yeah, there is still the larger picture of, Jordan Lawlar, even after going 2 for 3 today, is still hitting 061 on the season, which is not exactly where how you draw it up.
No.
But, just thinking big picture again with Lawlar, like if the Diamondbacks are going to take another step at some point over these next few years and reach another level as a contender, as a team that year in, year out is in the mix for the postseason, it's hard to imagine it not involving Jordan Lawlar emerging. He's been one of the big names in this organization, one of the guys who you have felt for a while had the ceiling of being an elite level player in this league. So it doesn't have to happen immediately. It doesn't have to happen next year either. It very well might take some time. I think people are going to have to be patient here, but in the big picture, Jordan Lawlar becoming that guy is really one of the biggest X factors for the Diamondbacks here in the next 5, even beyond that number of years.
Yeah, absolutely. Ernesto in the chat says 2 things the Dbacks draft well: 1, small, speedy outfielders; 2, handsome dudes. So he's not wrong about that. Sean says Blaze has that speed to make it a better version of the no-fly zone outfield. Also, Blaze's arm is incredible and probably better than anybody in the outfield. So to have somebody that could, with a cannon, that could potentially actually gun runners out at the plate would be a great sight to see for this defense. But we have more from Jordan Lawlar. Here's what he had to say about making that change from shortstop to third base.
I think I said this a little earlier, but it's more of just the coaches and working on different grunt work and angles. Shortstop's a little more lateral and direct towards the ball. Third base is more front back, I would say. So getting that mindset locked in and then pairing that up with the feet as well, it makes you pretty comfortable whenever you're called upon to take short third.
Well, they have a lot of guys that can play a lot of positions, and that's fun to watch. Also, what was fun to watch was the dugout's reaction to Jordan Lawlar getting that big double there, Jesse. I mean, obviously, it's just a double. He didn't even score. It's it's a season that's lost on a day where you found out your starting left fielder is out for the rest of the year and most of next year. It's hard to have something to be excited and cheer about, but those guys that lost their minds a little bit there in the dugout when Jordan had that got that hit. I asked Torey about it after the game. This is what Torey had to say about the reaction.
Yeah, I think there was the small eruption and the little celebration. I think everybody's really pulling for him. Look, he can hit. I know he's trying to do everything right and perfect. Take pitches, see pitches, drive up pitch counts, and different things. And I just went to him before the day started. I said, "Go ahead, man. Go early. If you need to go early, get your swing synced up. Just follow game plans and understand that nobody bullies you around the box. You can dominate. You can dominate this guy today." And he had a good day. So it was really good.
Did you say that because he found himself 0-1, 0-2 pretty often?
A lot of times, yeah. I felt like I was maybe trapping him and putting him in a hole. But the inning will indicate when that the game indicates when that's supposed to happen, right? I want as few of 5-pitch offensive innings as possible. We have a long inning. Hitters got to come up and take. It's just baseball 101. You got to give your pitcher a little bit of a rest. So he's been trapped a few times and unfairly. So I just felt like when he had an opportunity, he went 0-0 on the first pitch that he saw today and flew out to kind of medium deep center field. I feel like that was one of his best swings in a while. So I told him, just go and get that thing synced up. You're going to be fine today.
Well, again, contributed tonight. Like I said, he did score on that Ketel Marte home run. Speaking of Ketel, he was excellent again tonight. He doubled to lead off the first inning, gets stranded there at third base, but in the 7th inning, he did not miss that one at all. With the game tied and 2 on, Marte hit an absolute bomb, Jesse. A 3-run bomb that I just... This is the same night where we hear that Ohtani hit a ball 120 miles per hour out of the ballpark, and it felt like Ketel's went 125 miles per hour. It did go 115 out of Chase Field, and that was impressive. 115.4 mile per hour exit velo for that home run that would essentially win the game for the Diamondbacks. It went 414 feet to center left field. That scores Lawlar and Barossa. There was some sloppy defense in this one. I don't know. I think the big reason why it's such a focus is because of the fact that both of the Rangers' runs essentially scored because of these sloppy defensive plays. And I think that they're only sloppy because there was this attempt by Barossa and by Blaze Alexander to make like some outstanding plays, and instead they made it so much worse, right? And like you could tell on the approach on both of those plays, with Barossa misplaying that ball, it was from Michael Hellman that caused Hellman to get to third base and then score on that triple. Blaze would misplay a ball in a similar fashion in the 4th inning. That would also result in that runner scoring as well. So problems there with not only just like cutting your losses, I guess, for these younger guys, you know, like they're too amped to go out there and make a highlight reel play, and they didn't really realize, like, they were both close, but they probably should have just made the play instead of trying to make an incredible diving catch that resulted in extra bases being picked up.
I think those were both instances of young players just trying to do a little bit too much out there. You know, you don't mind every once in a while a guy kind of selling out to try to make a big play, but I don't think either of those were really the right moment for that. And
Right.
you know, I mean, it clearly there was more to lose by not making the play than just kind of slowing up and keeping the ball in front of you, or playing it in a more conventional way. The real tragedy, obviously the Dbacks still win the game, but the real tragedy, Derek, is that Nabil Crismatt's ERA went up to 2.14 unjustly. That man
he didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve it. They reversed the call on the Geraldo Perdomo throw, saying that was an error. They had 2 errors in the game, but they reversed that one, so they just had 1, and they called that one a hit. And I'm with you, Jesse. That's a crime. And Nabil Crismatt has been excellent. We're going to talk about him on the other side of this break. But of course, before we do that, we have to give out the King Snake, and that is to the one, the only Jordan Lawlar. No, I'm just joking. It's Ketel Marte. 2 for 4 tonight. 1 double, 1 home run, 3 RBI. I knew it would just drive some people in the chat nuts if we gave it to him, but
Lawlar makes the picture, though.
He does make the picture, and honestly, maybe he does kind of deserve it. I mean, Lawlar was 2 for 3 tonight with a double and a run scored. Geraldo Perdomo 1 for 4. Blaze Alexander, like I said earlier, 2 for 4 with an RBI. So
you think Ketel's happier about his home run, or he's hugging Lawlar because he had the first good game of his season?
I think it's the hugging Lawlar. Ketel's hit home runs before. He's never seen Lawlar hit a double. That's the first time he's ever seen Lawlar hit
First time he's ever knocked Lawlar in.
Oh, that was great stuff. But all right, we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of this break, we're going to talk more about this game, Nabil Crismatt being extremely good for this team, and Lourdes Gurriel's unfortunate injury. We'll do that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondbacks show. Well, we love our friends at Branded Bills so much around here that we have our own set of Branded Bills hats. And of course, if you are looking to have your brand stand apart from the crowd, look to Branded Bills to make you some custom headwear, the best custom headwear. In fact, you can start your order and their dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel you need. Their logos, their work is second to none. It is an incredible company that makes an incredible hat. Of course, if you are a hat aficionado like myself, you can go pick up this little beauty as well as a number of other Arizona themed hats, U of A, ASU, Phoenix Suns, and more over at brandedbills.com. So if you are looking to make some custom gear, look to Branded Bills. If you just want yourself a really nice hat, you can also look to Branded Bills. They're a local company from right here in Mesa, Arizona, so it always feels good to support local. Head to brandedbills.com and use code BBPHNX for 15% off your first order. And if you've been in Phoenix long enough, you know we've seen it all when it comes to the biggest sporting events. We've had it all here. But one thing that we have been just way too used to is having Phoenix Raceway Championship Weekend happen right here in Phoenix every year. And this is the last time it's going to be in Phoenix for a little while because NASCAR is taking the championship on the road. And again, like I've said in the past, can you imagine if we just had the Super Bowl here for a number of years, just year after year after year, where you would not appreciate it as much. And that might be what happened. So make sure you go show some love to NASCAR because it's an amazing weekend. Their season, just like ours, starts in February. It culminates in October with the championship race being on November 2nd. Make sure to get your tickets now. Those tickets sell out every single year. And of course, it is the best experience in all of sports. You can get into the Desert Diamond infield experience, get up close in the garages, take pictures with the drivers, take pictures with the cars, check out the pre-race concert, and so much more. So do not miss the electricity of Championship Weekend. Don't miss your chance to witness NASCAR Championship Weekend in person, coming to Phoenix Raceway October 31st through November 2nd. Tickets for Sunday's Cup Series Championship race sell out every single year, so move fast to get yours now before they're gone. And again, here's the kicker. NASCAR's taking Championship Weekend on the road starting in 2026, so this is your last chance to catch it in Phoenix for a while. Tickets, hospitality, and upgrades are still available. Get yours now at the link in our show notes. Don't worry, they'll be back. They'll be back. It's too nice here in October and November for them not to come back here. There's only a limited number of places they can go where race cars will be happy on a track in October and November, Jesse. But one thing we all should be happy with is what Nabil Crismatt has done for this team. I mean, this is a guy that has been a journeyman that never really caught on anywhere. He's been a reliever. He's played for some of the best teams in baseball. And yet, in this weird situation where the Diamondbacks literally just needed a warm body that could throw a ball and fill a couple of innings for them, probably not really caring what the results are too much, Crismatt has gone 1-0 with a 1.98 ERA in his first 3 starts here, 11 strikeouts, 5 walks, and an opponent average of 226 coming into tonight's game. His lone start outside of the season came on April 10th, 2022, 3 years ago, as a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks, against the Diamondbacks as a member of the Padres, where he gave up 0 earned runs in a 3-inning, opener kind of situation. But he was excellent again tonight, Jesse. I mean, this man, he just goes out there, he throws this changeup. He does it in a way where the changeup moves in different directions. You don't really know what you're going to get out of it or where it's going to land. And he throws it for most of the outing. It's 83 miles per hour. That doesn't make any sense at times why he's having the success he's having out there. But it just goes to show that, like, a guy that knows how to pitch and get outs, not a guy that's going out there to get strikeouts, not a guy that's going out there to put up impressive numbers and be, a flashy elite pitcher, just a guy that knows how to get outs at this point in his career. And that's what he's been doing for the Diamondbacks.
I mean, you can see it right here on this pitch chart. The changeup command is pretty immaculate here. He just has a really good feel for burying it down beneath the zone, throwing it in the zone occasionally to induce soft contact or an occasional called strike. It's been a really effective pitch for him. And you were talking earlier, Derek, about all the hard contact for the Diamondbacks in this game, the fact that early on it felt like maybe they weren't really getting their money's worth in terms of all the hard contact that they had. Nabil Crismatt allowed almost no hard contact in this game. There were only 3 batted balls against him that were 95 miles per hour or higher, and one of them was a double play, a ground ball double play. Another one was a ground out, and then there was a single in there as well. So and that just continues a trend. I mean, you look at his numbers coming into today, his hard hit rate as a member of the Diamondbacks is, I believe, under 25% coming into this game. So I don't know if he can sustain that like long term, but it's been really impressive to watch. Just kind of this old school approach of not necessarily trying to miss a ton of bats, certainly not blowing you away with velocity, but being really effective and able to obviously pitch pretty deep into this game.
Zoe AZ in our chat asks a question, Jesse, I think you might be able to handle better than I would. He says, is his changeup more of a sink change? I feel like I saw it going in different directions, so I don't know if it's necessarily a sink change, but I do feel like he does have the ability, and he discussed this after the game, to kind of change directions based on where he places his finger, whether it's on the top of the ball or to the side when he's throwing that changeup. And I mean, again, the command that he had, I think that's what was impressive. Was you might know a changeup or an off-speed pitch is coming from Crismatt. He only threw his four seam 7 times in this game, so you know what's coming, but you legitimately don't know if the break is going to break. Is it going to go right? Is it going to go left? Is it going to go down? Is it going to like? It's pretty impressive, and I think like at times when I was watching him pitch, like his pitches, especially his changeup, to us look so hittable in a way. Like, not to say that he's not getting it right where it should be in the strike zone, but when you see a ball kind of get lofted up there in the strike zone at 80 miles an hour, you just kind of scratch your head wondering why these batters aren't able to do more with it. And a big reason why is because it is breaking in different directions, and he is, utilizing it in a pretty efficient manner. Again, like you said, not trying to miss bats, almost trying to get him to hit this ball and just kind of, hit it right into the ground. He used his changeup 37% of the outing, sinker 26%, curveball 21%. He goes out and gives the Diamondbacks 6 1/3 innings tonight, 7 hits allowed, 2 earned runs, walked 1, struck out 3. Again, 3 strikeouts. What are we doing? How much seawater are we using to power up the Circle K strikeout meter? It doesn't matter. Because for Nabil Crismatt, I will power this thing up if there are no strikeouts, Jesse. This man deserves it. It's not about the strikeouts, but still, he gave you 3. And if this was a home game, you'd still get a free any size Polar Pop over at Circle K. Don't forget, with every K, you win at Circle K. Text STRIKE to 31310 to start saving on fuel, food, and drinks after every Dbacks home game. But yeah,
it was a home game.
Oh yeah, duh, because I was there. I forget when home games.
You were there,
Jesse. I'm
at the game.
I mean, I don't think I hid the fact that I'm a dumb man based on that video that we aired at the beginning of this video or at the show, and my beard that's currently teal. But anyway, go get yourself a free Polar Pop. Nabil Crismatt, though, again, a guy that just, kind of came out of nowhere for this team. Not a lot of high expectations, but he has just absolutely delivered in a short amount of time for the Diamondbacks. 4 starts, and the Diamondbacks have had a chance to win in every single start that he's pitched.
He's been everything the Diamondbacks really could have hoped for. And obviously when they traded away Merrill Kelly, it was sort of like, all right, here we go. It'll be interesting to see what you get out of that rotation spot the rest of the way. Anthony DeSclafani did, I thought, a pretty decent job overall at kind of filling in there. But once he went down with injury, Crismatt came in, and he's been, just sensational for the Diamondbacks so far. Talking about his changeup, the shape of that pitch, I'm looking at some of the numbers. It looks like it's more of a downer changeup than a changeup that moves horizontally. But there is a pretty wide range. The horizontal break on that pitch ranged from 7 inches to 16 inches in this game. So that does kind of make me think he has the ability to, make it more of a side-to-side pitch, instead of a downer pitch when he wants to. And I think it tunnels pretty well with his sinker. Those pitches really play off each other nicely. So just another example, Derek, that I guess you don't have to throw 97 miles an hour in order to get outs in this league. Mark Grace was talking about it in the post-game show. He was like, yeah, this guy could have pitched in my era. Like Nabil Crismatt would have thrown like 300 innings, back in the early 90s or whatever. And you can kind of picture it after watching a game like this.
For sure. Well, this is what Crismatt had to say after the game about that changeup.
It feels like, everybody's different. Like if I try to treat my changeups as somebody else, and I feel it's about your feeling, how you feel the ball in the hand every day, and just try to trust it. Or your heart, just throw it, execute it where you want it, and that's what I'm doing right now. I just feel like every day I feel like really in good relationship with my changeup, and that's the way I call it, because you have to have a relationship with the baseball, and it's a feeling that you have every single day. And I feel like, especially here, the weather is like really dry, I feel like I have a really good grip with my changeup every day that I throw the baseball here, so it's been working.
Ernesto, he is totally fake Razor Ramon, 100%. That beard line it's impeccable, Jesse. Well, I would kill for that volume of hair that man has. The beard hair combo is great. Whoever said it earlier in the chat, I think it was Ernesto, talking about how Mike Hazen knows how to draft good-looking dudes. Well, he knows how to pick them up as well through free agency or wherever Crismatt was. Signed a minor league deal with the Diamondbacks this year, and again, just an absolute. As Scott said, an absolute bargain bin gem for this team. I mean, the Diamondbacks, I don't think we're expecting guys like Anthony Disclafani and Crismatt to come in here and save their season, right? To be fair, I don't think they were even expecting that out of Ryan Nelson to step into the starting rotation the way he's done and been as good as he's been consistently for this team. So credit where credit is due, despite the fact that we scream about the bullpen and this pitching all the time. There's been some guys that have stepped up when they had no business stepping up and have delivered for this team.
They really have. Yeah. I mean, it is still crazy thinking about Ryan Nelson, Derek, that there was a time where the Diamondbacks decided to move him to the bullpen, and that was theoretically where he was going to be the rest of the season. And now in retrospect, it's like you can't even imagine Ryan Nelson being in the bullpen. I mean, he's been their best starter by a wide margin this season. And obviously, some of the guys that you expected to be productive have really struggled this year. Zach Gallen's come around lately, but obviously hasn't had a great year. Brandon Pfaadt has just really been inconsistent. Eduardo Rodriguez certainly in that group as well. Ryan Nelson and Nabil Crismatt right now, Derek, are really the engines of this starting rotation, and that's not exactly the way that you expected things to go a few months ago.
Candace is talking about how much Crismatt looks like Gru from Despicable Me, and now I can't unsee that. And also, Jesse, another guy that we should absolutely be talking about saving the day is Taylor Rashi, another multi-inning relief appearance where he ends up closing it down for the Diamondbacks. And I don't know, again, like what you can say about a guy that's kind of been all over the place the way that Taylor has, and finally found a home here for the Diamondbacks. Torey said that the coaches in Reno were banging the drum for Taylor to get an opportunity at a big league level, saying that he was absolutely ready for it. And so far, again, it's a very limited sample size, but it's kind of unbelievable what they've asked him to do. I mean, tonight wasn't perfect. He gave up 3 hits and an earned run, so it wasn't like he went out there and did what he did in his other outing, but still just a great performance from a reliever that you feel fairly confident can get the job done there late.
And it was really tough too. I mean, Rashi is his first big league appearance, right? He gets this 3-out save, and it's this beautiful moment, and then he gets sent down the next day, and it's like, well, that's kind of a bummer. So yeah, a nice opportunity for him to come back up and help the team here. And I imagine he'll stick around this time. Hopefully he gets that opportunity. He's certainly pitched well in these 2 outings.
Well, we have more from Torey on Crismatt, by the way. This is what Torey had to say after the game. I'd asked him just in general about what Crismatt, has meant to this team, and if, how satisfied he's been with the results. He also brought up Taylor Rashi in his answer. This is what Torey had to say.
Yeah, he's unfazed in any scenario, right? I think his first start was in Colorado. We talked about this very thing. The heartbeat is right. He's able to go out there and execute a game plan, not make mistakes. And I think the tough part of his journey has led him to this point where he's not going to take anything for granted. He's going to go out there and execute and fight for his day and fight to prove himself. And I love the mindset. He's open to coaching. He's a great teammate. He's always rooting for guys, and when he's out there, everybody's rooting for him. It's just it's a complete cycle, and I'm really proud of him. I'm happy for him because he deserves his opportunity. Taylor Rashi is another person that I feel like falls in the same bucket. Nobody handed Taylor Rashi anything. He was a 29-year-old journeyman. We sign him, comes to spring training, opens our eyes, attacks zones. The AAA staff was pounding the table for him to come up here. He gets the opportunity. He's 2 for 2 with multiple inning saves, right? So there's a lot that goes into those guys, and it was great to see him help us get a big win today.
And it was a big win. And we are going to talk in a little bit about whether they should even be winning. But that's only because tank season might be around the corner. We're going to talk about that and so much more. Don't you guys go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondbacks show. Well, speaking of tank season, Rally House is the place to go get yourself a new tank top with your favorite team on it. It's your place to go to get all of your favorite team gear because Rally House is the go-to spot to shop for your favorite local Arizona teams. With tens of thousands of products to shop from, you won't find the same thing twice at a Rally House. You can shop locations in Tempe, Mesa, and Glendale. And if you haven't checked them out for all of your daily or game day needs, make sure to stop by. Again, we've talked about this. Jerseys, they got them. Drinkware, signage, coolers, socks, whatever you need for your tailgate. Babies, diapers. They got sunscreen, which you should always have sunscreen living in Arizona. And why not, if you're going to have sunscreen with your favorite team logo on it. Every time you visit a Rally House, you're guaranteed to find something new, unique, and matches your game day vibe. Find your local Rally House location and shop their entire product assortment online at rallyhouse.com today. And also got to give a big shout out to Desert Financial Credit Union. They always help keep our numbers straight with the count. They got me started on my home ownership journey. Home ownership is a very important thing in this day and age. And I'll tell you, it's not exactly easy to get started on your home ownership journey, but Desert Financial can help you out. And of course, they can get you started on whatever your financial goals are. They will help you out with checking and savings accounts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and so much more. Join a credit union that is committed to giving back to the community and sharing success with their members. When you open a free checking account online right now, you can get $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200. All right. Well, speaking of the count, let's take a look at the count from tonight's game, presented by our friends at Desert Financial. Diamondbacks outscored the Rangers by a score of 5-3. Both teams had 10 hits. The Rangers 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position, which is the big story of this game. They had plenty of base runners and they had plenty of opportunities, but they did not get the job done. In fact, 2 out of their 3 runs, like I said earlier, 2 of those 3 runs were scored on by essentially mistakes made defensively by the Diamondbacks. So Diamondbacks, meanwhile, 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position, and they continue to get better in that category. Extra base hits, the Diamondbacks had 3 to the Texas Rangers 2. 2 of those were doubles. One was Ketel Marte, one was Blaze, and then, of course, not Blaze, Jordan Lawlar. I'm stealing Jordan Lawlar's first extra base hit already, and then the Ketel Marte home run. Meanwhile, expected batting average, Diamondbacks very good, 352 tonight. They, like I said earlier, they were hitting the ball very hard, and they were finding gloves, unfortunately, left and right. Texas Rangers expected batting average, 232.
XBA met the eye test tonight.
It did. XBA definitely met the eye test tonight, and it with the way things were going early on, I thought their expected batting average was going to be like 500, but then their actual results were going to be 3 hits with whatever. But anyway, let's take a look at how this impacts the standings with our drunken orgy of violence that we call the NL West. Dodgers still sit atop of the division at 78-60. The Padres are 76-62. They are 2 games back, and they are 1.5 back in the wild card. Meanwhile, the Giants have won some games. They are at 70-69, 1 game above 500, and they are also fighting with the Colorado Rockies inexplicably. They're 8.5 games back in the division, 5 games back in the wild card.
Derek, I fear since I made fun of the Giants for the Diamondbacks passing them that they may have not lost a game.
Yeah. No,
they're like 9-1 in their last 10 games. And I'm pretty sure
crazy.
That dates back to like literally the moment that me and you were laughing at them.
Yeah.
But it was started by me.
Yeah. Yeah. This one's on you for sure.
It's my fault.
This one's on you. Diamondbacks, meanwhile, 69, nice, and 71. 10 games back in the division, 6.5 back in the wild card. Rockies have lost 100 baseball games and a fist fight, potentially. I don't know. I didn't.
Did they lose the fist fight? Is that the verdict? They were on the losing end of the fist fight.
I think so.
Too?
I mean, that was a real fight, Jesse. Those guys really went after it tonight. I was surprised to see that. Like, what are they all amped up about? What are they fighting about? What are the Rockies fighting about? The Rockies have nothing to fight over. They've been out of it since day 2 of the season. So I don't know. But anyway, when it comes to the standings, right, and where the Diamondbacks are at, they're not in a great spot. Last time you were on this show, you were not wrong. It felt like after a couple of wins against the Dodgers, Maybe you were predicting the future a little bit, but it's as it goes with the Diamondbacks. And I mean, even in some cases, it has nothing to do with them being bad. Like they won a series against the Dodgers. They lost a hard-fought opener here against the Rangers, but I don't feel like any of this is actually like like them playing bad baseball. Like they're still winning. They still have a positive record for the stretch, but the teams that they were hoping to lose to help them out are not. And in fact, like Damon said, some of those teams that were below them are playing even better baseball than the Diamondbacks, and they've cruised past them. It just feels like that's the way this season has gone. It feels like every time you feel like they're making up ground or things are going their way, something devastating happens. And in this case, it's both. It's the injury to Lourdes Gurriel and the fact that you have other teams playing, no matter how good the Diamondbacks are playing, some of these tough opponents they have down this stretch leading up to the end of the season, feels like the teams that they're trying to catch up to are just playing better baseball and winning more baseball games.
They had a chance to make it interesting on Sunday, when the Diamondbacks were down 4-1 against the Dodgers. Corbin Carroll hits that 3-run homer against Tanner Scott. The Mets were down big at that point, wound up losing. If the Diamondbacks had found a way to finish off the comeback and win that game, it would have been 4.5. And 4.5 games with a month to play, at least, makes you curious. I mean, it's not impossible. But then of course they lose the game to the Dodgers, and then there's the game yesterday where they have the Rangers down to their final strike. They lose the game in 10 innings. Yeah. And I think it's just the reality of where this team is right now, Derek, where, I mean, you look at the roster and kind of come to this conclusion yourself. It's not rocket science. This version of the Diamondbacks is just frankly not that good of a baseball team. It's not a terrible baseball team. It's played pretty well here the last few weeks, and Absolutely. They certainly deserve credit for that. But when push comes to shove, it's hard to go on some crazy run and, keep up with a team that's 10 games over 500 when you have as many young, inexperienced players as the Diamondbacks do right now.
Well, we're going to continue this conversation on the other side of this break, and we are going to talk about if it is in fact time for tank season. As Jesse knows, it's one of my favorite times of the year. It's where it's where nothing can hurt us anymore. Nothing can hurt me emotionally during tank season. We're going to discuss if we should be tanking on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're still watching the PHNX Diamondback show. I got Kevin out here doing jumping jacks through the window here, trying to throw me off my game. And what he doesn't know is I cannot be bothered. We are not in this situation where Kevin and his edibles over here are going to bother me, but I do want some of his edibles.
We can't be arsed.
Yeah, exactly. But I would love to get down on some pure edibles right now. And that's because I need to figure out how to get to sleep. After a win like this, I'm pumped. It's super late for me, at least. My sleep timer goes off at 10 p.m. And I need a sleep edition gummy from our friends over at Pure Edibles to help me get a good night's rest. And of course, not only can you get sleep edition gummies, but you can get a wide variety of not only candies, but effects for each candy. They have hard candies, chews, their version of Starburst, which they call Kicks. They also have a chill indica. They have sleep edition gummies. They have uplifting, mood uplifting candies. They have everything you're looking for, and each effect is clearly listed on each tin. So check out Pure Edibles, of course, another local company. They were started in Flagstaff, Arizona, the home of Noble Herb Dispensary, and now they are made right here in Phoenix, Arizona. And so make sure to not miss out on Pure Edibles and their wonderful candies that they have. Go find yourself some Pure Edible products from one of over 130 dispensaries across Arizona. And whatever the moment, it is never ordinary over at Bet365. It's never ordinary when you're watching a Diamondbacks game either. So it can make watching a Diamondbacks game more fun with the early payout offer for MLB. With the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes ahead by 5 runs with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections, which will be marked as winners. So go download the app and use our code of PHNX365 when you sign up. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. All you got to do is sign up, use that code of PHNX365 when you do. Deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 or more, and you will receive $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, players, props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. Well, I love the Savannah Bananas, Jesse. And one thing that makes the Savannah Bananas so great is, despite people wanting to compare them to the Harlem Globetrotters, they are not like the Harlem Globetrotters. I just watched the Savannah Bananas lose this weekend to the Texas Tailgaters. That never happened in a Globetrotters game. They never lost to the Generals. That's not the way it happens. And the reason why, Jesse, is because you can't fake baseball. You can't tank in baseball, because you'll see it and you'll notice it, and it's just baseball. You got to go out there and give an effort, or else we're all going to know you're not giving an effort. But should the Diamondbacks still be giving an effort? I mean, brought this up on the show before, and the Diamondbacks are actually in kind of a good position this year. 3 of the bottom 10 teams in baseball are ineligible to receive a top 10 pick. So right now, the Diamondbacks are kind of on the bubble of that a little bit, and might, if they lose enough games, find themselves in that range of potentially getting a top 10 pick, which would be kind of, considering where they're at with their season and things like that. Like, I feel like, again, it's not like the Diamondbacks are close to that. I feel like they would have to lose a lot of games between now and the end of the season to really get there, with how bad some of these other teams at the bottom are. But I mean, if they do start losing games, at least for fans, it's a reason to not be upset about it. I mean, the more they lose at this point, the better draft pick they might end up with. And they've done pretty good with those draft picks, over the last few years.
I guess that if the Diamondbacks finish the year poorly, you could kind of talk yourself into that as a silver lining. Like, oh, their draft lottery odds are a little bit higher now. But given the fact that there is a draft lottery now, the difference between, having the 8th best odds for that top pick versus the 12th best odds or whatever it is not very significant. I mean, if you're outside of one of those 5 worst teams that are actually eligible to get the top pick, your chances of getting the pick are going to be 5% or lower. And I don't think the Dbacks could even be like 6th in line there. I think they're still going to be lower than that, just because there are a decent number of teams that still have worse records than them at this point. So, I think you're talking about the difference between a 0.5% chance of getting the top overall pick if the Dbacks finish the year really well, versus a 3% chance if they finish the year really poorly. And that's just not, I mean, the odds are kind of stacked against you in either case. I guess it could, it's certainly something you could look back on years later and be like, oh my gosh, the D-backs losing 8 of their last 10 or whatever actually opened the door to get this one player and everything works out great. But for right now, if I'm the Diamondbacks, I'm going out there, I'm trying to win as many games as I can, and trying to, of course, get some of these young players more valuable experience in the process.
That's the key. At this point, the Diamondbacks, especially now with the loss of Lourdes Gurriel, have no choice but to figure things out. And that was the big story today, is that Lourdes Gurriel Jr. has in fact been lost for the season with a torn ACL. It does open up the door for guys that wouldn't have received playing time to get more playing time, quite frankly. It opens up the door for Barossa and Jake McCarthy, for Blaze and Jordan Lawlar to be on the field together at the same time more often, based on the fact that they just have positions that they need to fill, right? It's not ideal, but much like the season being lost and, kind of our hopes of the playoffs being kind of flying out the window, that's not ideal either. You got to find ways to make this time productive. And a great way to do so is to give those young guys playing time, and to, hopefully maybe between now and the end of the season, getting Jordan Lawlar out of this funk where you're excited to see him, have a 2-hit game, to being a little bit more where Blaze is, where not only is Blaze producing, but you could argue Blaze Alexander has been one of the most consistent offensive players on this team over the last few weeks. And that's something that, again, is that happens with development. It happens with the opportunity to get playing time, and that's a big thing here. But also, you can't go out there and encourage guys like, yeah, do whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you got to keep your foot on the gas, and you got to keep playing hard. You got to finish strong down the stretch. And with the black cloud that's kind of hanging over the 2026 season already. You got to try to do something to build some sort of positive momentum towards that. And not only can it help to give these guys playing time, because these guys will be those guys next year, right? So it's like if they can get in a rhythm and be a productive major leaguer, then that means that the Diamondbacks are setting them up for success in 2026. But a lot of these guys are actually going to be needed. So it's not like the season is going to start and we're going to see a completely different lineup or starting pitching rotation. Obviously, some changes are going to need to be made in order for the Diamondbacks just to fill out their starting pitching rotation for 2026. But you do feel like a lot of these guys are going to be contributing next year and are going to be a part of this team. So this is all very valuable time. It's just maybe just lose a few more games. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying is don't be upset if the Diamondbacks lose games. Try to silver line this whole situation. But Jesse, appreciate you as always. Thank you for stopping by. Jack, let Jack know he was missed in the press box tonight and by Tori. Tori came into the pregame meeting tonight and he was ready to fight with Jack. He had an argument. He had paper. Jesse, Tori brought notes so that he could argue with Jack in the pregame press conference. And I was there for it. I was excited. I was disappointed Jack wasn't there, but I hope I don't miss when that battle actually goes on. Of course, make sure to not miss out on Jesse and Jack over there at Snakes Territory. Follow Jesse on Twitter at Jesse N. Friedman. I am at Cap_caveman with a K. Our guy Damon is at Damon Dog with a DAWG. We're all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark, bark. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks, but as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And of course, we thank you guys so much for stopping by. We appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow with another post-game show, so make sure to join us for that. My beard will still be teal, despite what Killer Rex thinks. Apparently, he is colorblind, which is just an insane thing. This is a teal beard, Killer Rex, and trust me,
pick a struggle, man.
Yeah, you know what? He's always upset about something. But Jesse, we thank you for your time. The rest of you, we thank you for your time. Thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate you so much. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, have a wonderful evening. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when Jordan Lawlar gets 2 hits in every game.
We all silly like the mayor.